Gambarnya beda, cok.
Streamer amatir cuy.
Lebih tajam gak sih?
Aduh.
ST aja lu semua orang.
Yang
Ya, lu
Inggris
apa,
tuh.
server? Iya,
Yang Inggris
geser
lebih tajam.
Suara sih. Kalau jujur gua kalau broadcast luar itu lebih enak balancing suaranya, cok.
Yang di PUBG Mobile Office, yang PUBG Mobile doang.
PUBG Mobile
Ya.
e-sport. Yes.
Pablon camp.
Iya.
PUBG Mobile doang kan?
Iya, Win. Iya, Win.
Bukan
Oh nggak bisa hidupin kamera Pablo nya aneh.
kok hilang tadi.
Di gua lu
Oh,
tuh
biasa
kayak
gitu.
disabled by you gitu cuy. Nah,
Tapi kok enggak ding.
kadang Discord gitu sendiri lo gua blok kayak
Iya,
elunya
sama,
mati.
sama.
Iya memang kan.
Harus
Iya.
dipencet Discord lagi baru kan.
Baru balik lagi.
Aduh gue hidupin.
Tapi ini
dulu.
mood. Oh enggak ding. Kok mood
Apa?
ngelek-ngelek juga sana.
Enggak nge-lag, aman.
Yang PUBG Mobile doang kan?
PUBG Mobile
Iya.
Esports.
Oh PUBG Mobile Esports.
Iya, Windy.
Wih, Infinix iklannya nih.
King Phoenix, guys. Nanti dong. Ini kalian nih drama pinjol. Nanti kalau lagi
Bentar.
nggak nobar.
Oh iya.
Oh dia nih. Oh enggak.
Makan. Makan, guys. Satunya sama itu, coy. Sampelnya.
Nah,
Makan. Mikin. Idi, sedapnya. Sedap.
Lihat nih.
Loh, gue kira ke stage tadi. Lu yang di OBS-nya udah mati belum, Pan?
apa?
Di OBS belum mati kayak masih muter-muter lu.
Apanya?
Kamera. Thank you,
Oh
Rai.
enggak,
Berkas selalu
gua
juga.
salah setting tadi.
Nih, gua
Tada.
aja deh.
Iya, Toro. habis
Masih
beres.
muter nih. Gila dulu gue bisa loh ini. Sekarang mikir dulu.
Sekarang.
Apaan cuy?
Biasanya
cuy.
video broadcast bisa ditarik kedua, enggak ya?
Enggak,
semuanya,
enggak bisa.
Oh gitu. Gue kira dia bisa. Tinggian, tapi kalau turun ada kasur gua. Ada.
Jadi buat yang masih nanya BTR masih 2 minggu lagi, guys. Gitu, guys.
Iya, tim gue minggu depan. Gue full stream banget minggu depan ntar. Jadi bocil.
Bocil MRPX.
Halo Hendra Fikri Abdillah.
Nah, kalau kita tanya mumpung ada Ispan, pede nggak? Lolos.
Objektif.
Kalau dari gua mikir, kalau dari
segala macam.
harapannya apa anak
Lo-
pendapat gua?
Pendapat lu,
Pendapat
POV
lu.
lu ngelihat anak-anak
Pendap-
mungkin dari segi latihan,
Pendapat
persiapan.
gua last chance survival.
Malah justru
Turun.
keluar dari top 3 berarti. menurut
Iya.
lu.
Tapi kalau gua boleh jujur sih, mereka membuktikan gua salah tuh udah dari PMPL. Karena gua dari PMPL pun mikirnya mereka nggak lewat lebih jauh dari PMPL. Jadi ya ini udah tempatnya mereka buat berkarya aja.
Dan buat temen-temen, ingat ya, MRPX ini tim dari PMPL ke PMSL ke PMGC
Non
loh.
partnership,
Iya.
catat aja juga.
Hmm.
Yang nggak punya privilege langsung di PMSL tapi lewat jalur PMPL.
PMSL final gua nggak nyangka mereka bisa sempat top 3. Tapi gue pikir mereka dapet slot PMGC turunan.
Lebih logis ke situ
Iya.
ya berarti maksudnya ya.
Mereka kontender kemarin.
Contender. Cuman
Contender.
kalau grup ini, kalau dari gua yang kayak gua bilang, yang penting mereka nggak kebawa mainnya Faze atau tim-tim lain yang agresif, Pan. Sebenarnya
Iya,
tuh
itu dia.
game cell-nya MRPX tuh bagus, cuman kadang-kadang tuh sang brute-nya itu loh.
Enggak sih. Kalau MRPX menurut gua harus
Apa?
terima kasih sama Rocky sama Boboho sih. Berat banget.
Iya. Iya, semua berperan.
Semua
Berat
berperan kalau di tim itu kemarin. Gue kan di situ juga
Berperan, tapi
sebulan.
Gua ngeliat
Tapi yang
Rocky bener-bener nggak pernah
kelihatan
kalah
nyala
gila.
ya. Rocky close combat-nya sih kemarin jadi mimpi buruk banyak tim sih.
Iya.
DBS-nya
Tapi
sih
di
nggak
hari
pernah
terakhir
kalah.
dia yang nggak terlalu deliver sih, dia yang sering mati pertama duluan. Cuman ya jadi seimbang lah. Gue hampir
Live berapa
mau
match?
isep
Live
vape,
6 match.
cuman gue inget kawan gue lagi live di tempat lain.
Kenapa?
Hampir mau isap.
Nggak apa-apa Bang, gua nggak tampilin udah.
Oh enggak ya?
Tangan gua kotor soalnya.
Udah kamera dia. Makanya gue pakai Nvidia biar nggak kelihatan.
Oh, gue kira lu
Asapnya.
kayak green screen buat
Asapnya.
ini. Pas mau
Lo belajar-
nyebur nggak di
belajarin
sini
grafis
biar nggak
nih.
gini deh. Di situ di hitam langsung tuh.
Ya.
Licin.
Mau mulai nggak?
Makan, selamat makan. Silahkan. Aku masih kenyang.
Nonton di yang Inggris kan ya?
Inggris.
Oh, kalau gitu gue
Asetnya
ikut.
bagus sih yang ini. Opening map-nya. Udah mulai off cam. Windy, mulai.
Zinyap. Tapi tadi yang itu bisa ya caster-casternya belakangnya tuh nyatu sama backgroundnya gitu transparan.
Oh, bisa Windy, bisa.
Jadi kayak keren gitu.
Asli Win.
Want to see a bigger game from them, but
Makasih Mas Anang sudah menanggapi aku
more
ya.
flexed in the game, please. I think
Sama-sama,
it's safe
Widi.
to say that like
Anytime,
the
anywhere.
technical ability, it certainly isn't up there with some of the other teams we have in
Oh
this
iya,
lobby,
Cosmet, anjir,
and that's
lupa, Cok.
fine. That's fine. I think that this is a
Lupa.
great learning ground for them every single time they make it to this position in
My bad.
the global tournament of the
Like
year.
dulu nggak sih?
Right? And I
Like
think
dua.
the main thing we see
diingetin
from
gua kali
Reject
dua.
every time they get
Terima
to this
kasih.
global tournament is they're happy to be here. You know, we see some of these teams that look a little bit downtrodden, they look a little bit nervous, but
Thank you,
even on
Ulrich.
the greatest games, you're seeing Reject keep that mentality high. And I think that's really important because you will see some teams that technically, once again, are better than Reject, just do so much worse than them because they don't keep that mentality on board, right? They crack early on.
Yeah, you've got to be able to just take everything that comes your way, one step at a time. And hang on a minute, I think we can take a step back into
Udah
building the
mulai
narrative.
gamenya
It
baru
seems
top up, Cok.
to continue as once again the Pachinki Punishers going
Pocinki lagi, Bra
head-to-head
sama
versus the
DX
Axe
lagi.
that might actually lay
Menurut
more
gua
of
ini
a claim
agak-agak
to the
aneh
name
sih,
off the back of the
merugikan
way the
buat
hot drop went last
masing-masing
time,
tim.
Blank, as it was explosive. Big nades, big plays, they picked
Explosive.
up all the pieces they needed. And
Suaranya enak nggak
Played
Hendra?
with the
Apa harus gua
landlords.
gedein
They
kecilin
were the
sesuatu?
landlords. There was a slow start to it,
Karena
though,
viewer
right?
gue
And I
cuman
think that's
lu
what we're seeing
Pernau,
the difference maker
Anda
here
akan saya
is
layan.
that Brari
Kak,
Sports
detiknya,
taking a bit
Kak.
more of an aggressive role within this
Iya, Dek,
engagement,
sebentar,
right?
Dek.
You know,
Detik
they're
berapa, Dek?
peeking, they're making sure they've got the weapons to go
5,
Detik berapa,
4,
Om?
3, 2, 1, 0, 2 menit pas.
DX get too much control early on.
Berapa,
Apanya?
Mas
Gua telat.
Anang?
Just filter
Oh,
into
aku
the
sama
position
kayak Mas
where they
Anang.
could be,
Oh,
and
kalian
go
belum
from
kaldu ya?
there. So I do
Nggak
really
kaldu
like
dong.
this from Brari
Oh,
Sports.
gitu.
They're switching things up.
Sial,
It's not a
gila.
case
Lu
of
ke
just doing the
1080
same
dulu,
thing
baru ke
again
original.
and losing
Sadam,
the
Sadam,
DX
Sadam.
off the same play style. They want to try
35,
and psych
34,
this team out.
33.
So again,
Tiga
this
lima.
could go either way.
Oh, lebih cepat
I like
dulu
the
aja.
initial playstyle from Brari Sports.
Kejar.
Ntar nih
But
belum
I do
nyamain
think
Pablo
that
lagi
DX
makan
has
sih.
once again slow things all the way back down, which is exactly what they
Berapa
want.
sana?
Thank
32,
you.
29,
Enak, Bang.
28.
Suaranya enak
Jauh.
gimana?
This nade on the
Halo,
side here
Akma.
could be deadly.
Masih
Ak
10 detik.
That's
Ma,
what my
Zaini,
eyes
Zaini.
were already honed in on as well. The
Hendra
second
Fikri
you see
Abdillah.
being able
Apa
to
kabar
find
kalian?
a little bit of utility.
Kalau enggak
Jangan
jangan
lupa
langsung
di-like,
balikin agak lama tuh.
Kalau
Saya
suka
ke
ya.
1080
Kalau ada kritik
agak
saran
lama
lempar
detik.
aja cuy.
That's a lot of
Terus pause
information.
Streamer amatir masih
baru
belajar.
ke
A little
original.
bit more
Berapa
fragmented,
sekarang?
and they're starting to turn up the tempo with it.
No,
Might have actually caught him under contact. Doesn't get close
59,
towards the door. Playing on a
8.
window sill himself,
Jauh,
so
jauh.
he can drop off if he pushes
Boom,
in.
hilang.
The weaponry
Wah,
wise,
miss dia, guys.
the SMG versus the shotty as
Oh,
well.
dia-
He might be
Caranya gimana?
introducing them to
1080
playing on a window.
balik ke ini.
Seru nih, perang terus nih, Mas.
Playing on a
Kali
window
dua.
sill himself,
Oh,
so he
Cinti,
can drop
bro.
if he pushes in. Weaponry wise, it's the SMG versus the shotty as well. He might be
Iya,
introducing them to a friendly
bakal
but he misses the
ngotot
first shot. Hits it
Wah.
well, too little, too late. The trade game works out well for Ra.
Gantian cua keculik. Bahaya emang kalau sendiri-sendiri gini kalau dipus. Tricky. Mana wajah ganteng. Oh iya.
Mas ini break ya. Udah
Shit.
breaknya tadi 6 menit.
Aduh. Aduh, streamer amatir cuy.
Halo, Reza, welcome.
Berapa sekarang, Mas?
It
24,
not, wasn't quite
23,
the double
22,
nade on
6
the
detik.
top side to blow him out of the wall.
20.
Belum.
Jauh masih.
Jauh.
Oh, gue tahu
But it
caranya.
still did the trick, so I really do
Nah.
like that coming from Bra.
Satu-satu di X, Bra, iya kah?
Win.
Oh, iya.
That can make it to the
Di X
Ya.
apa
Ayo, kita ke 1080 dulu Ki, bareng Ki. 1080. Mana, Ki?
If you definitely want Pachinki, you want to hold this spot, you
Yo, yo, yo,
can't
yo,
Iya,
show
Nan.
the
yo.
exact same thing as
Nah,
last
Oke,
time.
udah.
Pause dulu.
Gue pengen makan apa?
Show
Pause.
that you
Ya,
are
pause dulu.
even in that sort of
Oke,
situation.
terus?
where you do
Dah,
have the
play.
fallbacks to go
Langsung
to.
ke
You're not
original.
instantly just
Play,
going to have the
original.
previous emotions from last
Berapa?
time
Oke.
clouding your thought
Aduh,
process.
Rian.
Right, the adaptations
14,
really
13,
quite nice to
Kenapa
see.
Rian? Kenapa?
Loops here.
Iya.
Mana, mana?
Though. He's in the field and he's found himself
Rio.
Rosemary he wants to pick.
Menang berapa?
Stealing it away.
Astaga.
59.
Cheeky
58.
pick up there over towards Rosemary. Pretty
Ini
even
sengaja
pick as
sih
well.
kalau menurut
That's
gue
a
sih.
nice play coming from Blue.
Orang-orang
I think
sono
they
darah
use
panas
that
juga cu.
Oh, iya.
Jadi kayak dia langsung formulasiin strategi gimana biar bisa gangguin nih orang.
Sama.
Dikit lagi.
Gue tahu karena tim-tim tuh kadang-kadang melakukan itu.
43, 42.
Also means
41.
that rotate coming in from the
1
eastern
detik.
side.
Bisa jadi gue benar, bisa jadi gue salah, bisa jadi gue julid dong. Tapi harusnya sih ini benar.
With alter ego as you make your
Gue
way
bingung mau
to the
pesen
western
apa cuy.
side, which is where the
Eh,
zone
lu
has
nonton di
gone.
Inggris gak?
Very far over towards the western
Enggak.
side on the
Indo.
Ya
North
ampun,
Gate.
ya
This is the first time in a
Allah.
long time
Ya iya,
as well,
pantas.
Jackie. We've seen Gladiators get
Di-
themselves
di Inggris, kita di
central
Inggris.
position at the
Tadi
Semoga
melek di
MRPX
Indo.
lolos sampai grand final.
Apa
Amin.
namanya, Mas?
Yang PUBG
Amin,
Mobile
teramin,
Esport.
amin. Kalau mereka lolos grand final banyak PR sih gue. Gue mau bikin merch, gue mau ini, gue mau itu. Nginep di kantor deh gue ntar. Kerja ngurusin biar bisa lebih proper lagi.
This is an opportunity now to really show up and
25
perform.
kopek.
This is a
Kagak dong.
fantastic gift you've been given.
Menit
If
berapa?
Gladiators can't perform on this
Hah?
match, I think we have to write them off until they
50,
start bringing
50,
something to the
49.
table.
Itu ndak enaknya split jauh
It's been
ya.
too long now.
Sama
We
pasti
said
nggak nyangka
just wait
juga
till the
sih
end of the
mereka
tournament.
bakal ada
They'll
yang
pop
tabrak
from
daerah-daerah
there.
mereka.
It
Tapi ya
never
benar
happens.
itu disadvantage-nya
Ya,
kalau
sama.
split
I
terlalu
can't
jauh.
subscribe
Nah.
to that kind of mantra anymore.
Dah ya.
You know, it feels like
Dah.
something sort of changed.
Makan
elsewhere,
apa ya?
Really, where if
Pantas.
they start
Tadi
to
udah nasi
snowball in a
Padang.
negative manner where they're not picking up the
Udah
early
tutup,
points, they're not
Kicoro.
being able to get themselves
Niat
honed
banget
in
nungguin.
early, it's not
Iya
going to
sih.
change easily. So at
Ini
least
Mas
here,
Kicoro
having
juga
the
di
blessing of
Cowes.
the circle on your side, it can
Tiap
make
grup
the
diambil
difference.
berapa? Diambil
Ends
3
mereka
yang ke
Getting the
final.
back foot, which we've seen twice in a row now,
Kenapa Chan
where the
Bulan ini
rotations are
bakalan
a
live
little
terus
bit
guys, tenang
uncomfortable
aja.
for them.
Ini gak perang lagi kah? Waduh.
After
Seru
they were
nih.
able to pick up the
Wah,
opening
culik
knock,
satu doang,
since
Cok.
then they've just been taking
Alat
it
plat
as
bet
a
mulu.
pack,
Lu jangan
looting
kemana-mana kalau mau
and
mulai
looting,
bet.
looting, ground level to
Belum mulai
ground
game
level.
1.
Kenapa
game
ya?
pasti ada.
PMGC, they haven't really
Pak
budged an
Isniknya
inch.
udah
They've been
makan
playing
lagi.
far slower, looking
Ntar deh.
almost timid off the back of the first engagement.
Wah,
And that's
lapar
what
banget
body
nih, ntar baru
language
cari.
does always worry me. I think with the way DX
Kuruk
played
ada
into
niat,
the
Cok.
last game, you could see even if they were struggling, even if they're forced into a situation where they don't feel quite as confident,
Aduh.
they were still taking
Rugi
their
banget
approach to
anjing,
it with
perang-perang
that
di pocin
air of
kayak gini
arrogance.
nahan-nahan.
Here, it's very much kind of waiting it out and hoping there'll be some scraps left towards the end. But for Bra, are they content to even give them the scraps?
Yeah, I think this is the smart move as well from Bar Esports as well. What you want to do in this
Sorry,
situation
guys.
where you've got the enemy team with a player down, they're likely going to buckle up, turtle up, lock themselves away. And for you, that moment just is a time to go loot every single building of every little bit of loot, every little bit of utility you can get. If you get level 2 vest, level 2 helmet, you get a lot of utility, a lot of meds, you can extend that engagement. Even just finding a DBS in that situation is absolutely fantastic. You've got more ammo to play around
Bisa nggak
with.
sih langsung
So
grup
for Bra, slowly but surely, they're
Sabar lah kamu.
Kok
Sabar ya.
agak kurang
and when
smooth
that
deh.
team fight does break out, should it break out, they'll have a significant
Ini gue nggak
advantage.
sukanya
Doesn't
YouTube
mean
sih
that
daripada
DX
platform lain.
can't
Masih
win
belum
that
bisa
fight still. Paragen had
bitrate tinggi.
5 nades, I
Ini
think it was.
1440 loh.
Could be the difference maker between Bra
Tapi ya
Esports
memang mereka ngambil
losing
titik
that fight
tengah
and
buat
winning that
device
fight,
bagus sama
but I
device
think
jelek.
they are making all the right moves at the moment. And DX does look a little bit frightened. You're not wrong.
Daman guys ya. Salam
Aman.
di Surabaya,
Oh, bukan gue.
See
mantap.
if they can turn it around.
Makan apa ya?
Talking of
Ada
turning
saran
around
makanan
here,
nggak,
top
guys?
and tail with the vehicles and
Banget
close
tapi.
proximity as information goes either way. Is Megamind catching
Ini match
whiff
kedua.
of what exactly is
Match
happening
3,
here on a
cuy.
rotation? As they're starting to get themselves into a bit of a better spot. Actually, getting himself out of the vehicle, going for a quick
Ini
layer.
nggak
The
bisa
makan ayam lagi, ayam lagi.
themselves
Mana
quite
Dajjal,
far
ya.
off. Taking the pot shot onto the
Cepi
last man in the pack might work out for him.
Makan
but
yang
being able to
goreng-goreng.
hit those
Wah.
shots from such a distance is never
Kepikiran
going to
itu
be
lagi gue
easy.
emang.
And that info goes both ways.
Hebat
They'll
Hendra.
know about his position in future. Circle starting to reposition again here.
Kecilin
as
dikit
well
nggak sih,
we
guys?
move our way
Nggak usah
into
ya.
stage 2.
Gladiators taking a pretty dominant position over towards every
Wah,
side.
zonanya
To move further north. They
lagi
have already
banting
cleared
ke
out
atas.
Kratos
Ini
and slid
loops
back
pasti
down
langsung tabrak
towards
ke
that
atas
position
rozok
off the
sini nih.
map, but
Mas gue
a
muncul.
lot of space now taken up towards
Atas
shooting
rozok
range, and
situ.
where currently Alpha 7 is playing, who has pretty good control over the bridge
Versi
side. So
alter ego
Gladiators
di belakang
might think
mereka.
about getting a move
Versinya
on,
udah
heading
masuk.
up towards that north side, pick themselves up a decent position to play in. EVOS is
Tingginya
already
apa?
in box
Offline apa?
compounds. They've got
Offline
that
ya?
locked down
Kemana ya?
over towards that eastern side, not getting past them too easily as they set up the barricade. Tiamba, on the other hand, just taking it slow. And I think that's what they do most games right now. It's what they did over in their region as
Nayam.
well. Just
Oh,
kept
ini
things nice and
Nayam.
slow. Play for these wide
Faiz
rotates,
mau makan nggak
play
ya?
for these safe rotates as well. Get themselves
Gak
into
jadi
the
mod,
end
kecewa.
game.
Lu
And
gua
I think that's why
ban.
they start to
Is,
play
makan
well,
gak, Is?
playing off one another.
Faiz.
Kind of
Aduh
their
anjing,
MO.
ketutup emot.
You see with the utility they've already been able to piece together as well, that at least in terms of being equipped for a bit of a later play into this one, it's looking pretty good. Nice amount of nades distributed between the squad. Big bit of spacing as well taken. Ooh,
Makan apa
Tipsy.
kita?
He thought he had contact on that one and was able to just keep
Pawangnya
his eyes
mana,
on them.
Koispan?
Instead, he's lucky he's still alive.
Pawang tuh
Big tag.
apa? Pacar
Knocks
apa
his
apa?
confidence a bit, goes back into the building to bandage himself
Nggak
back
ada.
up. And this is where it all started over in Pachinki, obviously with Bra Esports being able to pick
Makan
their
apa,
way
Is?
through DX. Now again, hot on their tails, using
Napi
the
ini
extra
apa?
lead
Nasi
they've been able
api.
to
Wah,
establish
enak
to
nih kayaknya,
fully
Is.
pick Pachinki dry.
Wah.
And be able to have that control
Napinya
through
Nayam
DX,
sih, Is.
basically into one compound, leaving them looking so uncomfortable. Big change in the way that they've been setting up. The posturing does not look anywhere near the same as it was in the first game for DX. You can see already losing one man.
Beneran maksud dia pacar lo? Nggak pedes samsek, oh ya kah?
It broke him immediately. It's kind of sad.
Kecewa
'Cause
gue.
I think Chua kind of plays
Nama
from that angle
Napi,
as well, so as soon
nggak
as they locked
pedes.
in, they were like, oh, what do? Not sure anymore.
Paha pada
I
Is.
did like the way that Bra Esports goes for it as well, because what they do is they take out all the buildings close to them in terms of the loot. Then they fan out, take the outer edges. So even if
Keju apa
DX wanted to
mentai?
leave
Keju
whilst
lah ya.
they were clearing
Mentai.
those outer edges
Mentai
of
setelah
Pachinki,
saya
there's no
lakukan
loot
itu
remaining in
menjijikan.
that area. You can see they
Not
still have
nice.
the double pump shotgun on board. Really
Isi
not a lot to
Shopee
work with.
lu.
Lamborghini does find himself a DPS
Kenapa nggak
though,
nasi goreng
which
tulus
is
lagi
fairly
kita, Is?
ideal.
Iya nasi goreng tulus kali ya? Ya nggak sih?
If you can pack a punch with the weapon, it can be the difference maker in scenarios like this. The added utility always a benefit though.
Buset.
Walking out with
Gila
the
barrel
nade
nih,
in his
bos.
hand, expecting to be able to bounce it off the window ledge and find a bit of a pickup. Not got his wits about him. Exposed on the contact, Lamborghini putting bullets down range and connecting with a backup with the rest of the squad. And now things are a little bit more fragmented. Effectively going from looking like they're out of sorts to playing like a tripwire here. The early warning system getting the contact. And Bra, you're going to be a bit uncomfortable with this. Heels having to come in,
Ngikut.
zone nipping
Ini
at you
dua-duanya
as well.
sama-sama nggak
Very
lolos
light
nih jadinya
damage,
nih
so
DX
not
nih.
enough to write home about, but
Iya kalau
uncomfortable from
cekek-cekekan
either
gitu
side.
mulu.
Iya,
Cuk.
sampai terakhir nih, Cok.
Iya kalau cekek-cekekan gini mulu mereka ngerugiin dua belah pihak anjing.
Iya, Pan. Mau sampai kapan perang?
Nggak apa-apa lah, bagus lah. Ngurangin dua kompetitor buat tim Indonya.
Iya, tapi udah gitu.
Yang lagi ATS gimana? Camry yang baru. Kena cacat.
Nasi goreng.
Apa, Cok?
Thing is, you're surrounded though. For Paragin,
Sabar.
he's far enough back that
Nasi
maybe he can
goreng
make a
ati
bit of a
ampla
getaway
pete,
on it,
beuh.
but even then you're just
Gas.
playing off the back of committing that both of your teammates are going to be left.
Lu apa,
You'll have
Is?
to bail and see
Tidak
what
kapok.
happens.
Iya, itu dia Hendra.
Sambil
Cuman
nunggu.
biarin aja lah,
Masuk
mereka
lagi.
bakal ngancurin poin mereka sendiri,
Sama
ngurangin dua
Ivan
kompetitor.
Bang, jangan, Bang.
Tambah telur.
Rian bahas kamu lu Mas anjim ya, dia nggak di Discord sini ya emang. Cok. Nair ya, bilang.
Pedas, lu pete ati ampla. Pedas nggak? Tambah telur lagi nggak? Pedas.
Dia lagi sama
Carves him
Benny.
up as well. I think Levi's just went down to the play zone, in fact, sadly.
Ceplok.
Paragin, again, is what I was talking about. They've just got no meds on board whatsoever. And Paragin, the only one with one first aid kit, that's it. No stims, no nothing, just a bunch of nades he was able to gobble up on his journeys through Pachinki.
Kok nggak ada promo?
And for
Oh
Bra,
iya,
I
dia
think
nggak
they
ada
should be fine
promo.
for a little while longer,
Kurang
but this
ajar.
doesn't feel like they're playing the game, right? They're
65.000.
not playing the overall game. They are playing for Pachinki. And this is the type of team that is scary. And we're going to kind of come back to those points we made on last game, is the fact that you don't want to go versus Bra
Lu nanya di
in
grup ya, Bro?
Pachinki because they will confirm on this spot no
Kalian
matter
kasih tahu
what.
aja,
They will make
Indonya
your
mulai.
lives hell to play. So
Kenapa
for
nih
them,
tiba-tiba
it
nge-lag?
doesn't matter about this
Iya,
game right now.
sama.
They want
Udah,
to
udah.
secure this position
Udah
on the
lancar
map.
lagi.
They don't want
Enggak, aku nggak
Kenapa
ngelag sama
gue
sekali.
lagi kayak gini
Enggak,
ada
enggak,
aja
enggak,
ngechat
enggak.
kurang ajar. Selalu loh, gue dari
Iya,
dulu
lancar
kalau
banget.
to go up against
Apa?
this team on a hot drop.
Windy.
It's really taking it as far as you
Diambil
can
berapa
with
tim per grup?
proving a
3
point.
langsung ke final. Sisanya 4 sampai 11, posisi 4 sampai 11 itu ke
Gue tiap kali dari dulu tuh kalau streaming ada aja yang masuk ke dalam chat gitu, Cuk.
baru ke last chance qualifying.
Kalau lagi santai nggak ada notif.
Gua ngomong udah tadi nge-mute. Astaga.
Iya lo.
Astaga, dan terjadi lagi.
Lu baru streaming ya, Bro? Perlu gua ajarin nggak? Buset. Sorry.
Gua ngelek loh, kalian nggak kah?
They've got no mares, they're just
Lumayan,
slowly
main.
dying out there to the blue zone as well. Take a look
Dikit.
at the next circle coming through stage 4 where we're going to get a really big shrink on board, and it could go either way because it could head over towards that north side or down towards the south, and it looks like we're locking in over
Kepencet
towards
tadi, guys.
North George a little bit on that western edge.
Joknya
But this is
masuk
not
ke
a
Pablo tuh.
comfortable area to play in, I
Boleh
would
nonton
say.
ya,
I
tapi
think
nggak
that
boleh diomelin
teams that
lagi.
were able to
Kagak, harusnya
hover
boleh.
around on this western side towards North
Harusnya boleh.
George
Kalau namanya
will
watch
have a bit
party
of
boleh.
sanctuary for quite a while going
Yang penting
forward.
nobar
Tapi
kan.
notif telepon dulu nih, ganggu
Aku lagi
banget
bikin
anjir.
konten kocak. Nggak ada kita masuk konten aja, nggak ada. Nggak ada, Dao.
Soalnya gambarnya beda jauh, coy.
Kan kalau biasanya kita juga kadang kalau lagi ngeliat memang pindah ke Inggris nggak apa-apa. Itu tadi kan peringatin yang itu streamer TikTok yang lain. Sombong nggak mau masuk DC Bang Rian katanya. Apa lagi? Dia sama Benny. Emang Nair ini coba mencemaskan kalau lagi nggak live ya. Awas.
Anang emang gitu Bang Yan, maaf Bang Yan, Anang emang gitu Bang Yan.
Gila, rotasi gila, Cok.
Dia lagi sama Benny sama ini. Rame di sini.
Aduh, ngelek-ngelek juga, Cok, sama aja gua.
But this just looks so uncomfortable. Meanwhile, one of the few times we've had an opportunity to really say much about the Mad Bulls, as they're also thrown into the thick of it just along the coastline. Oh, it's all looking a bit iffy.
It's actually not a bad position for Mad Bulls, right? You get to control the bridge side, they can play underneath the bridge, play just to the edge of it around the rocks. So it's a good spot to hold out a lot of teams, but again, it's not exactly a water gun in terms
Sulit
of a
memang,
spray
sulit.
coming towards you. This is a
Kok Pablo Mas Anang ayangnya muncul.
It is a super,
Oh, baru muncul.
Ayang Randinya muncul.
There we go.
Iya,
Super
Randy.
soaker in terms of what's coming at you for the Mad Bulls. that they're
Oh
gonna
gitu
have to
dia
deal
sekarang
with.
ya,
So,
masuknya ke
I
Windy
hope they
dulu
don't
ya.
mind.
Iya bro.
It's going to be difficult
Bangke
to hold
kau
this
ya.
position,
Di
but this is where
Pocecip
the
juga kalian ya,
confidence
Pocecip.
on board. And I appreciate they
Oh
put
gitu
themselves in a
Koking
spot
ya.
where it's
Randy,
not a
guys.
case
Nggak ada
of,
King
right,
King.
the player's
Randy.
been safe. It's a case of we're gonna have to
Jahat
fight
banget dia,
for our
Cok. Ke
lives
Windy
here.
dulu, Cok.
Oh, you're talking about
PJP Don
playing
2
it
ya?
safe.
Don
The
2.
biceps are out for Reject Tokyo as they go driving.
Apakah RC menang lawan Red Bull? Tidak, ternyata.
None of this is looking
Banteng gila nih, Bos.
Woi.
Each and every one of them
Buset.
absolutely pounded. Radio Theo, the only one that could
Kelihatan ninja banget, guys.
Aduh, Sarah mati pertama 2 kali loh. Apa kedua ya? Sering lah tapi dia mati early anjing Sarah. Padahal dia punya nickname
Bajunya boleh
X-nya.
bebas.
Dia
Enggak,
Maxi
ini ada
namanya.
3 set apa 2 set kata Genfo.
Thumbnailnya bikin lapar.
OCO trying to go for the res on his teammates, seeing if he can at least salvage something from this one. But this is nasty. That was a confident play and a half.
Yeah, I mean, for the guys on Reject, they knew they had to do something and do it fast. They assumed there'd be players down towards that region. If they send all the vehicles in, maybe they catch someone on the bumper. They do, in terms of the front line over towards Naomi. It gets a lot easier from there forward. And I think Mad Bulls just weren't expecting such significant force coming their way. In the meantime, Gladiators lose 3 of their players. And I think that comes down to them trying to go for the safe. You know, they go to the compound, which is in the dead
Ayo
middle of
masih bisa
nowhere.
enak sih
You're
harusnya.
essentially hoping for a circle shift
Wah,
at that
Sersi
point.
ya.
They do a little bit of scouting Everest. but
Lihat
nothing
Sersi ya tuh tuan
too
tanah
intense.
Erangel
So
game
when
ini
they
dia.
end up having to
Coy,
leave, a
Alpha
lot of these
7
spots are
masih
already
berempat, masih
taken.
di tengah
Masih
ya.
berempat,
So
masih
Gladiators,
berempat.
again, it's one of those positions on
Nice,
the map
apa JP?
where it
Nice.
didn't have a
Masih
lot
balas
of
lagi.
longevity. It was just a
Nah, baru
last
mati.
Aduh.
Oh, lu telat kan?
They're proving
Hah?
that the
Iya kan?
nine-tailed fox does not
Helmsnya ya?
enjoy
Buat telat muncul ya?
submersing
Detik berapa?
himself into water. Goes
15,
down and
14,
out. And Gladiators
13.
Telat dikit.
again wipes off the chalkboard, losing a lot of teams over the course of this one. But
Ini
more
berani
importantly, if you look at
sama
the
Mat
attrition
nggak ada
towards
rencana
the
punya
right-hand
poin
side,
apa?
your
Oh
screens,
udah
you
ya,
can see
di
just
game
how
ini
many
baru dapat
squads
poin.
Nah, dikit
are
aja,
down
nggak usah
on
banyak-banyak, nggak
numbers.
apa-apa.
The consistent trend throughout
Betul.
the day, where even if you're finding a little bit of survivability, everyone's being picked off.
PJP di
We're not
ayam-ayamin
seeing
emang iya.
much in terms of the overall teamwork because the numbers are dwindling so early.
Rian left
that
di
the
mana?
longer
Enggak,
these
Nair
fights
lagi
go
nggak
on,
left, guys. Nemenin
especially
Benny
now
doang.
into the fifth circle, it's so hard to play off each other. Hero plays have to win and lose you battles.
Yeah, it's been a pretty horrible circle, honestly. And I think
Alpha
that
7
we
4
said
poin,
that it
ST
could really
berapa poin?
top the chaotic
Satu
nature
baru.
of that last game, and this certainly kind of has. The
Kayaknya
way that it was
masih,
sort of positioned down
bertiga.
towards that south side made a lot
Tadi
of
kan
teams
HBD ya?
assume that taking control of Everest, South Crates would be a great idea. In the end, it just
Sabun, bos.
constantly moves further and further up north, in which case that early rotate coming from Stalwart, the hold from Alpha 7 being very cautious of where they want to play outside of their initial drop spot in North George has been fantastic. But I think the one
Jadi
team
gua
that surprised me most
Falcon
is Alter Ego.
Nah
They
iya,
have had
jangan
a
buru-buru
long
ready.
journey from Lipovia to get here, which just goes to show teams that were dropping over towards the western side, Gladiators, had a chance to get here. They
Nggak
lost a
mati,
player
Cok.
early, did Alter Ego, and they still fought for their position.
STE enak ya, STE sama Sersia yang punya lahan paling gede dan mereka sekarang lagi senggol-senggolan. 2 player Sersia mati di sini. Ini 3 mati di sini. Culut.
Hilang dia.
Yang tuan tanah sekarang Stalwart ya, Hendra ya.
Buys his time to wait for a rotate in to even have a 2 versus 1 fight to work with, and even then
Dia sama
he's just
Kia
content
beda.
to put bullets down range, keep advancing, taking
di
map
plus Kia itu
control of
main
them.
di
Now
sama
looking for the
beda.
last knock as he goes in with a bonnet, trying to just absolutely
Tergilas ya guys ya.
It'll be Icy that shuts it down as Shopper is slain. But man, Stalwart,
Culun.
they're looking so aggressive. And that's 5 more elims to the total tally of points.
Itu artinya setupnya Sersia tadi tuh nggak siap ditabrak orang, anjir. Oh, gua dari tadi nggak mute, astaga, sorry.
Aman.
Soalnya meskipun misalnya Stalwart tuh punya firepower lebih gede gitu, harusnya mereka bisa ini nang apa? Nggak langsung
Nggak
rata aja
buru-buru.
gitu. Ada balas kenok lah.
Day
Nih.
on the show, right, is that Action Top, great players,
Mati
but
Tian,
needed more support.
Tukang pukul on fire, bener preman Cuk. Abang-abangan PUBG sekarang Stalwart nih. Mongol nih mengerikan nih, Bang.
Wah, ngejawab keraguan gue sih, guys. Gue kira dia nggak bakal perform di PMGC.
Whilst waiting for backup coming through from Action and Top so they don't get split off together. It's so good. Now they
Ada
have
serunya
complete control of the
Adik.
north side. Is this going to be a second chicken dinner on the day? Alpha 7 doing their best to hold their spot. Circle
Oh,
moves down towards the
premannya
south.
South
Looks like Alter
Asia,
Ego
iya
and
asli Cuk.
Alpha 7 will be
Dan
battling
kebawa
out these two
keluar loh.
compounds.
Kadang-kadang kan orang tukang pukul di regionnya kadang dipukulin di region lain. Ini memang keras cuy. Setengah zona punya Stalwart tuh Cuk.
Tergantung pelurunya berapa nih. Belum ngeliat kan?
Ayolah Alter Ego bisa yuk.
They thrive in these ones blank. When they're able to just take the space that's created for them by Stalwart, they absolutely
bingung tadi
live for
Potato
it.
bisa
And we're
mati
getting
loh.
closer towards that being the potential storyline once again.
Kenapa
This
bisa
time
sampai
because
ke
you
end
have
ya?
all of Quest alive as well. Quest, it's been a bit hit or miss with their placements in terms of the way they've been able to start this. It feels like it's been a bit shaky towards the start. Having all 4 players here could be a bit of a boon for them. But again, you look at the spacing, you look at how far they've got to move, especially
nggak boleh
with
dipakai ya?
the zone starting to nip at their heels when things tick away a little bit longer, and you have
Apa dia
no
lupa
clean
pasangnya?
map control. You've just
SR
got
yang
grass
harusnya
and
bagus habis
trees in
STE
front of
muncul
you,
for MP.
and then
Iya
4
betul.
players in 2 separate compounds that
STE
have
itu
their
dulu yang
eyes
Zeus
honed
kan,
in.
terus Zeus
One
kalau
of them
nggak salah
being
juga ada
Alter Ego
lagi
that have
for
proven
MP.
even as a
Bagus-bagus.
duo can be
Roster
absolutely
lama, kan
devilish when it
roster
comes
nggak
to the
bisa ganti.
firepower.
Yeah, man, I mean, for most of these teams
Tapi
right
emang
now,
Mongol
you
main
know
FPS
that this
jago.
rich side
Cuman
still at
kadang-kadang,
play,
sorry,
right? So,
kadang-kadang
like you say,
nggak
all
terlalu
eyes
smart.
towards this position.
Kayak di game Counter
Quest,
Strike juga mereka
all
nggak
credit to
berkembang
them,
banget
you
soal
know,
jadi
8
region nomor 2 gitu.
eliminations, Al-Haji leading the
Ini
charge
tim
Tapi
forward.
kalau
battle
di
tim papan
I
atas
think
kayak
that
ini.
they've done
PUBG
well.
ini mereka
It's
sempat
taken a while
matang
to
nih,
pull
bagus
that
banget
really
ini.
Seru gitu ya,
Gue suka
yang
liat
atas
game
ya.
kayak gini.
Iya,
Biar
jadi
seru.
berebut
Meskipun
top
kita semua
klasmen
pasti
terus.
berharap
Kalau
dari
nonton yang
region
turnamen
kita
kemarin
yang
yang
lebih
bawa-bawa
kuat
kan.
kan. Cuma menurut gua ngelihat yang kayak
Tinggal
gini
sini aja mas,
memberi warna
di
lah.
Windy, King Randy bahaya godain terus. Emang
Nice
nggak
initial
bakal inget dia
into a
kesini King Randy,
secondary
biarin
knock
aja.
from
Cok.
Revo. That is gorgeous.
Nice.
Biarin.
Spots out Icy.
Kill steal.
Going through from Stalwart as he tries to get some scouting done. Luckily, sets himself in a spot where he is safe.
Man, all eyes on Ayala as well. Some of the shots that he's been hitting, be it
emang
DMR
King Randy
or
Star Syndrome,
shotgun,
guys,
he
King
is
Randy,
always
guys.
up for the task
Anjir.
and has been so good in terms of his tracing and his flicking. And it's quite impressive. Normally, you
Ta,
see this sort of
sabar
game
ta,
style's not really,
amunisi
you know,
ta,
translating
hemat
too well
hemat.
for some of our players. You either excel in one and struggle a little bit on the others. He's an all-rounder, content to pick up
Target
whatever
transisi
he
lagi.
can give him
Betul.
and really find some good shots with it.
Ayo,
So
Ta.
still being able to third party at the
Mati
prime
dong.
opportunities, adding a little bit more each
Nice.
time towards the Loops dominoes as they move on up to 6
Nice.
eliminations
Aduh,
from
gua
this.
telat
This has
ya.
caused issues for Stalwart. A side that looked like they were
Ah,
really
biar
the driving
puncaknya
force
berhenti
behind the
poinnya,
game,
guys.
now being absolutely heaven. Closing the gap in as they start to advance
Mati
into
dong,
the
ST.
compound as well. They
Iya,
get
Cuk,
Loops
ketinggalan
under.
lagi.
It's all going wrong for them.
Nice,
It's so much on the northern
Okta.
side, and I think they tried to claim too much space. You know, this is a fairly open
Eh.
area. Cardozo, though, gets absolutely mowed down by a couple of mini 14s. And when we're talking about Ayala, how good he was with
Delay
them.
lagi loh, kalau gua muter-muter gitu ketinggalan dia.
Mafioso and Carrillo from this
Tuh,
building at the moment. It's given
tuh. Kita baru kaldu loh, langsung kaldu lagi.
a bit of a lifeline for the guys on Stalwart.
Might have given
Cair
them
kal
just what
pas
they
weapon, guys.
need to potentially still be
Mereka
able to
udah
make
digebukin
something
Meka yang
out
ngeratain
of
Loops, what the
this,
fuck?
leaving us now into the final four as our squads have
bisa
been
chicken
whittled
lagi nih.
down. You're looking
Kayaknya ya.
at manpower, the only side that
Bisa,
actually
bisa.
has 4 players
Tuh,
alive
beres
and
itu,
kicking on
kiri
this one
kosong tuh.
is going to be Alpha 7.
Nggak ambil
In
kah?
terms of the
Tops
spacing as
tapi
well,
yang
at least
kena
they can
end
play
nih,
on
Mas.
the
Iya,
field.
iya.
You've got cover, you've got map geometry that will be favoring you. That's not really the same sort of situation for Stalwart now. It gets a lot harder. The vehicle being the only boom, potentially going for a bit of a 2-1 split, using the car to draw attention, whilst the other two players make a
Oh,
bit
iya,
of a
gua
move
ingat.
to keep themselves in it and
Pak
getting
besar,
a lay
let's
of the land.
go!
Compound control still
Mana
firmly
alter
in
ego
the
sport
hands
tadi, guys?
of
Dah.
Alpha 7, though they're
Chicken ini
content
dah.
with this one quest. They're where we left them, down towards the ridge side. Huge smoke wall
Temponya
up
jadi
ahead,
turun lagi.
pushing in for the 2v2. The only fair fight they might be able to find on this one, but that's up against Alter Ego. They've got nades to
Sabar, Cil.
work
Sabar,
with. The
Cil.
shotgun to bait out the first nade takes a little bit of damage, Blank, but at least got spacing.
Nggak
Could
jadi,
be a
jauh.
good nade coming through from Fnatic, but he peaks a little bit too wide here. The second nade coming through from Octa has
Nice
to be
banget,
good
Ta.
to prime it just right. Alpha 7
Tapi mati,
sends in
Ta.
over towards his position to finish off this engagement. Good nade from Easy that
Astaga.
might just finish it off, and it does. But it's just a smart play coming through from
Bomnya
Alpha
udah
7,
terlanjur masuk
honestly.
soalnya, guys.
They realise that there's still 2 players coming from Quest. They're over towards the western side. They allow them to head over towards Alter Ego. That fight's going to conclude on its own, with at least it being a 2-player being left standing in the end game. But really fast rotations.
Alpha 7 chicken.
Alpha 7
Hmm.
getting into position as fast as
Harus nih.
possible to try and get this game sped up for them, whilst they know that STE is
Bisanya dia maju,
licking
Cok.
their wounds over
Ya,
towards
rata
this northern
ya.
edge.
Ya.
It is a mean core that remains
try.
alive for Stalwart.
Jadi pesan
though.
udah pesan,
Both
Is.
Icy and Nurzad alive and kicking on this one. Utility-wise, it's there. They've got the nades they'll need to work with. A few meds sprinkled in. The nades being pulled out here again, though, is easy. Makes the life hard for A7. Doesn't want to give them an easy chicken dinner on this one. Closing the gap between the compounds. Teammates been revived as well. Shotgun blast through the window. Tags up on a windowsill. Sanab having to back off from the commotion caused. Nades whizzing by him as well. This is an angle where the DBS can still be so lethal.
Yes,
It's all
God.
about just hitting the shot first. He's got to play this one perfectly to buy his teammates time to work with. Big damage back over as well onto the rest of them. Wide swing round the corner, Blank. Cleaves his way through him like a butcher knife.
Senab is doing so well here because the rest of the team is dealing with
Apa,
STE, preventing him from getting any
skill.
closer.
10.
The fact that he holds that down on his
Awatnya
lonesome
top
is so
3, top
important.
2 anjir bisa
Unluckily
chicken
though,
lagi.
during all the chaos, Action and Nerza gets in. This is what I was so happy about earlier on, is they spot this commotion, they see the fight's taking too long, they take the opportunity to get up towards Wizard Tower, and this. And with that, they get the circle to Jackie. Couple of nades remaining, they have to be big. They want to cause chaos in the backlines here for Alpha 7.
Has to be clean connection. Nades are worth their weight in gold in a situation like this. Last of the stims being used as well. 2 remaining in the back pocket for Nurzad. Tops himself up, gets the heart pumping. Action on the reposition. Has nades to play with. Molotov can be primed if the push comes in. Nade a little bit late on the timing. They've got their way up the stairs, taking a 1v1. They can't quite find him though. What? He's able to step his way around him. Eventually strikes back with a shotgun. Action. What is going on? The numbers now dropping. Nurzad taking a close quarters engagement, diving up on top. Here's the one pump onto Cernab. And they're turning this around, Blank. He's aggressive to try and close it.
Is this going to be the second time Nerzek closes down a game, spots a player, flushes him out? The upstairs is amuck with chaos for Alpha 7 at the moment, but this Molotov's been passed through from Icy as he starts to join the fight now, Jackie.
Icy, he's going to turn the heat up on this one. Molly to keep him trapped in, dive out the window through the back line. Quick peek onto Icy, trying to connect the shots, but it's too little, too late. Icy pumps away.
Gila.
They fall down, and in the end, finally
Chicken lagi, cok. GG.
with their second chicken
Ya
dinner
Allah,
of the day.
ini tim.
Downright blank, they deserve that one.
This team is absolutely
GG.
crushing it right
They're
now on the
doping.
PMGC League stage. It's unbelievable. And you look the way these two players move off the back of one another, just completely outclassing Alpha 7. The team that's kind of known to be absolutely horrendous to go up against when it's close and there's DBSs involved. But Icy on the back line, drops the Molotovs through, threatens with the presence of that utility. Nerzed steps close up to the wall. They're not sure when he's going to peek out. Doesn't even peek out after Icy takes a couple of hits from the DBS and then comes out of the way. And I think that's what really throws Alpha 7 off, because they just don't know where to peak on that side. Do we peak close or do we peak far? And playing on a mobile format like that, it's not easy. So completely manipulating
Ke tempat
how
Rian
Alpha 7 is playing that
Benny kali.
endgame.
Tadi kan
What a
diceng-cengin
game
dulu dia.
there from Stalwart.
Oh, iya kah?
Realistically, should have been in the bag there for Alpha
Tadi
7.
enak STN nunggu Alpha 7 perang. Iya bener, jadi dia tuh nguasain zonanya duluan. Mereka pas musuhnya maju, udah tinggal dimakan, di setup duluan aja, nggak terlalu berat buat mereka. Coach Senator, my favorite coach, anjas, betul. Strong dia, memang nggak main-main. Lihat util usage mereka dibanding tim lain yang top 4 lebih dikit aja. Emang firepower sama momentum ya lebih dibanding. Karena mereka punya zona gede banget di atas tadi. Bisa ya mereka menang dari loops anjir.
Wow, the longer this day goes on, they're starting to prove that they can thrive on the back foot, they can thrive when it comes to instigating fights. It doesn't matter what they're left with, like 3v2s, 2-on-2s, they're happy to take it on the chin.
I mean, this is the second time Ners has clutched it up with the DBS as well. So, again, this guy is an unbelievably brilliant addition to the team. He's performed so well in the past as well for them. It's unsurprising why they decide to pick him up for the Mongolian team, right? It's just such a good player.
Ya, kaldu lagi dah gua.
The highest levels, mate. Team, right, is just such a good player, and he is performing here on the highest levels, mate.
Well, I think there's only one thing to do off the back of that. Let's get back to the Stalwart fan club and see what they think of that one.
West ada dua. West Arab sama Chile. Iya. Lagian pakai nama generik amat, maksudnya generik tuh general umum amat. Jadi gampang ditiru. Kalau lu bikin brand tim e-sport tuh kalau bisa tuh jangan kayak gitu, agak unik dikit. Kayak contoh Sersia. Lu pasti tahu Sersia yang mana gitu. Namanya unik. STE lucunya ada dua, 628 sama Stalwart. Stalwart agak unik.
Many strong angles, but nice attempt, Kalaris, from Alpha 7 to try and use the best sniper in the game, the S12K. What a great weapon at a range.
Well, you say great effort. I'm not convinced.
It was supposed to be ironic, but cool. Okay.
19 poin, astaga. 32 tadi kalau nggak salah kan. Jadi 51. Mengerikan.
Like that's great stuff from them. I think that Stalwart got a little bit fortunate about having these circles slightly favor them towards the end, but regardless, I mean, it's Stalwart, man. As Jackie said, the fan club's here. The fan club's in full action, full swing. That's 2 wins out of 3 games. They're looking phenomenal to start off the tournament.
I love it for Stalwart to transition, and Icy is just trying to get those nades in. He's just throwing everything in a kitchen sink for Alpha 7. Why is it not
Gus.
Just keep dodging my utility.
Gus.
But it's still Alpha 7 despite not.
Emang belum mulai di lo?
Second place with
belum lah, delay pasti 15 menit.
Like we're looking at 3.
Pada diem-dieman mute semua anjir. Ngobrol ngapa?
Cabut.
Kerja. Di sini bukannya kerja.
Ini udah mulai di gua mah.
Oh ya juga ya.
Kan delay.
Wah. Spoiler nih.
Ya, mau gue videoin nih. Paling karir lu tamat, cari yang baru lah. Waduh, gantian slot depan.
I think it was the shelter split that they actually had available to them.
Mana, Blo? Besti lo, Blo?
Gak tau hilang tadi gue lagi defend. Terus dia hilang.
Mungkin dia ke
Wih,
ini
sih.
ke KNTL kali.
Bang di sana juga nobar.
Cemara.
Itu caranya guys, cabut cara ninja gitu guys.
Parah sih hilang Mas Anang.
Enggak, tadinya apa bentar sebelah.
Emang ada
gitu.
KNTL?
Dia ada di DC mana?
DC Pinky Blender.
Oh.
Gua kira di KNTL apa di Cemara, rupanya di Pinky.
Bantu gua lah di grup itu jawab Azir bilang emang TikTok yang Adi nge-lag. Woi.
Lu tadi nggak sekalian ngomong.
Nah itu gua udah ngomong itu di grup, cuma gua kan gak enak masa cuma gua sendiri. Bantulah.
Iya sabar King. Sabar.
Nah gitu, Windy. Aku juga gitu. Nah.
Aku juga. Oke, ramein ya, ramein gitu ya.
Tolonglah.
Asik. Oh ya, maaf.
Gua ada jawabnya, jawab diplomasi banget, Cok.
Iya, Bang Yuda.
Iya, gue juga udah Nan.
Bantu dong, bantu.
Oh enggak ya?
Aku disuruh Mas Anang gitu ya.
Ya aja enggak apa-apa.
Disuruh Mas Anang.
Aku rela enggak apa-apa. Aku rela. Bet Mas ya, bet.
Ada Sky di host PMGC emang. Hot jokes ya dibilang dia. Ya kayak Sky.
Dari gua open lagi, nge-lag kayak. Tunggu. Lu nge-bet apa enggak masih sama?
Sama lah.
Ya udah masih papan atas guys, seru banget liatnya tadi.
Gila gue udah dari nonton seru gak sih tuh STE sama itu.
Iya, menang
Tapi
guys.
kalau Alpha 7 STE makin naik terus slotnya tinggal 1 dong, sisaan.
Bener juga.
Lagi lu.
Tenang, hari ada 4.
Makin susah. Oh iya, masih ada terang.
Masih ada 21 match lagi. Masih bisa tusun lagi.
Baru day one.
Gua enggak rela.
Kak Junior. Tapi yang dari broadcast yang Inggrisnya itu belakangnya keren tau, backgroundnya itu nyatu sama wallpaper. Ngerti gak aku ngomong apa?
Coba aku lihat dulu, aku mesti lihat dulu dong.
Yang PUBG Mobile Esports, jadi kayak sama gitu, kayak keren gitu.
Iya.
Senada
Iya.
cinta bersama.
Berarti green screen apa gimana?
Green screen itu kayaknya, chroma key-nya nggak
Nah
bikin
itu
perfect
keren
itu.
kan?
Oh green screen itu mah.
Green screen fisik itu.
Nontonnya Windy siap Bang Wira. Siap.
Enggak, yang di tengah lu liat Maxman tuh. Dia kan ada kabel headsetnya kan, itu kan Logitech kan. Kabelnya tuh konsisten, nggak sampai bolong-bolong. Contoh kayak kalau anak
Oh iya,
tricky.
mereka printingnya belakangnya.
Iya, beneran asli itu. Intinya itu green screen fisik, entah yang gimana-gimana tapi itu asli, bukan yang
Mereka green screen kok ini.
Iya.
Kan si siapa kumis satu lagi Bang? Aduh.
Yang mana? Kelaris, Maxman,
Bukan Kelaris. Yang kurus, tinggi, yang kumisnya paling tebel.
Aduh, lupa lagi gue.
Aduh, ya gue juga namanya lupa. Bukan Kaplan, bukan Kaplan.
Si Nganu.
Bosen baru nih. Ngeliat early nih pasti Pochinki. Aduh.
Lumayan buang
SMB.
Pochinkinya buang 2 pesaing cuy.
Iya, nggak apa-apa lah. The Xavier sama Bra, biarnya gontok-gontok kan nggak bakal lolos juga itu.
Iya, dua-duanya bakal lolos ya.
Persia culun bet tadi Gus.
Cersei iya anjir. Copo anjir. Hah?
Gus, lu di komen tadi kan gua reaction video rapper Gus. Nyanyi tadi.
Terus
Agus cosplay yang mana Mas? Lu yang suara dampingin Dona kan?
iya suara 2.
Dari Kuari, kami takkan lari itu kan?
Coba dong, mau dong denger suara duanya Kak Jun.
Aduh.
Ajun.
Gimana ya Win?
Ajun. Ajon apa?
Enggak ya Gus ya, lu bagian ngeramein PUBG aja Gus ya.
Gua pertama nggak nge kan, belum lihat videonya Gus. Suara Agus mana guys ya? Apa yang cosplay? Ye. Tapi enggak, dia yang sama Dona, Cok.
Suara doang. Oh berarti mesti dikorek tuh kupingnya tuh yang nggak dengar suara gue.
Enggak, soalnya nyaru. Gua kira apa suara Odi, apa suara Odi sama Reski yang mana coba?
Nggak ada.
The game's been delivered today, man. I think that's the most exciting bit, right? Because obviously you've got everyone here. The stage is set.
Iya
Right?
semua.
Clash of Nations is
Nggak tahu dah. Kayaknya merah putih deh, merah putih.
3 caster mana? Enggak, tahu gua enggak. Cuman mereka berangkat dari PUBG PC. Kaleris itu dari PC. Kapan
Kalau ada job PC masih diambil setahu gue.
Masih diambil.
Oh, STS satu slot pasti nih ya.
Absolutely, man. It's been
Mas
Belum
Dep,
tentu.
si Dep. Pan maksud gua.
Ini sama di bawah cowok nih orang cowok.
Si Dep tuh kan sering tuh ngupload behind the scene di XD Twitter. Iya, si Dep. Ya green screen dia.
See, they've been caged in. They're not allowed to leave because they'll start causing a ruckus like they have been over in the
Nggak ada
lobby as well.
jedanya
They've been
jeda
doing
tipu-tipu kayak
fantastically
gini
well
sih,
for
jeda
themselves.
nyuri-nyuri.
I think some of their plays have been phenomenal. I do really enjoy the way that Stalwart that last game did
Ya
force
dari
the
game
handle a little bit.
PC lah
It
pokoknya pertama.
sort of feels like to me that Alpha 7
Imperium
is
malah
extremely
dulu game
good
PC beda.
at one play style in that end game, which is getting up close and personal.
Oke,
Ini beberapa
dulu.
R6 kayaknya. Alpha in, iya Alpha main tuh.
Aduh, ini mah nge-replay kayak game sebelumnya ini.
Ayo udah mainin Alpha kah? Belum Miramar ya? Udah mainin.
Super siapa?
Siapa tadi?
Mari kita cek. Ini YouTube bisa dimainin dulu.
Lupa.
Kentang.
Genforce off ya, Genforce Scream kan tadi ngomong cuma 2 match atau 3 match kata.
Kentang.
Oh benar ganti gel berarti.
It's just so exciting as well to see really just the Mongolian massive absolutely giving it, man. The way they're playing it, you're right, because it's one of those where
Ini kalau izin ke belakang boleh nggak kalau lagi kayak gini? Nggak tahu boleh nggak sih Pan? Sebelum match sih.
Kenapa? Oh, toilet.
lot of reliance.
Dulu sih kemarin boleh. Cuma kalau ini menurut gue sih boleh sih ini.
Sport kayak guys masing-masing guys.
Kayaknya udah di stokin 300 Pampers dewasa deh.
Clean up if I need to.
Links main lagi.
Zuxi yang disabut, Cok.
Zuxi?
You can't buy that. You know what I mean? You can't.
Tapi dari tadi Zuxi juga udah nggak ada. Game yang sebelumnya.
Main.
Oh, game sebelum. Netizen siapa nih yang ngomong nih? Bukan aku kok Isvan.
Percaya Randi kamu.
Gara-gara Anang bilang kucel mukanya jadi ditarik dia.
Oh, parah sih Mas Anang sih, parah sih Mas Anang, parah sih.
Kenapa sih?
Oh.
Nggak apa-apa kata Bang WAP aku sudah jadi tumbal. Siap, nggak apa-apa. Iya, aku salah guys.
Tumbal proyek Anang tuh guys. Kamu mau 100 juta?
Enggak, katanya Zuxi nggak main game barusan.
Tuh kan.
Kita nggak merhatiin nggak guys?
Parah banget sih Mas Anang nggak percaya sama aku sih. Yaudahlah.
Links main. Luxi gak main match 1, match 2 Links gak main, match 3 Zuxi gak main.
Udah yang bermasalah red face anjir.
Yang Tianba tadi iya blunder itu dia, gede itu.
Tianba tadi, rumah tadi kan
Dari match 1 juga udah blunder anjir. Maksudnya jumping kayak gitu. Emang dari diulik dari apa juga. Dia yang udah paling ini dia. Gak jelas.
Oh iya, close bet. Bagas 2 match doang mas. Oh iya. Miss gue berarti nggak baca tadi.
Aku like Koispan, thank you.
Close bet ya. Maaf adik-adik yang belum ngebet. Bye.
Ini AESTE lagi. STEPE.
unfortunately.
Apa
But he
sih?
was a player on that team, obviously. The guys from
STL
Alpha 7. Iya, iya.
Fantastically. And he has slipped
Zuxi tadi kebelet mas dikunci di toilet.
Sort of
Iya sama Cowboy guys.
that we saw Spry having
Sekarang
the
Cowboy yang
cast,
megang
but
kunci toilet.
just feels a lot more confident on it. And I think that
Kalau marah-marah sama Winnie nggak marah, aku sama Winnie guys mana bisa marah.
that is probably the best phrase to put for it, right?
Anang pemarah padahal.
Ih, kok Isvan belum tahu kan ceritanya yang Mas Anang.
Mulutnya itu cerita itu terus loh Win.
Parah sih.
Bukan yang dia ngechat gue mulu.
Yang beda nggak sih Win? Versi yang beda gitu Win. Jangan yang itu terus
Gua
episodenya.
kalau jadi WAP gue nggak mau sih.
Ngapain lagi tiba-tiba ada Bang Wira?
Wih, Gaimin ke military base tuh. Sama Stalwart nyebar.
Coba Win, kamu mute ceritain dulu, kasih yang intens ceritanya sebenarnya.
Tahu nih ya, Bang Wira, Ko Isvan ya, parah nih Mas Anang nih. Kan waktu itu pergi sama Ko Daniel, sama Ko Pablo, sama Mas Anang. Kan duduk di depan tuh Ko Daniel sama Ko Pablo, aku di belakang sama Mas Anang. Aku lagi anteng diem, tiba-tiba diapain tahu gak?
Apa tuh?
Dijambak rambut aku, coba Ko Isvan.
Buset, astaga anak.
Astagfirullahalazim.
Rambut itu mahkota wanita.
Itu udah ada unsur penceritaan yang pembawaannya udah lain nih guys.
Gua kira itu yang kasusnya dia ngechat gua itu.
Bang Randi langsung marah kan nih. Wah.
Tiba-tiba astaga kalian astaga fokus dulu nih.
Pocin lagi guys.
Gak penting gak sih sama-sama nggak ini bodo amat ini.
Lihat Milbase nggak tadi? Gaimin turun di kirinya SMB, Stalwart turun di bawahnya SMB.
Berarti aku kebacanya Luxi tadi Zuxi berarti.
SMB dikepung tadi. Kena nih. Nggak kena. Culun.
Kapan ya kayak begini mereka guys?
2-1 Kamanis. Yuk bisa yuk, siapapun menang, aku tidak peduli. Iya, 4 squad tadi di SMB. Anang udah nggak pernah ngajak gue nongkrong lagi, Cok.
Halo Lisa.
Dicuekin.
Jauh.
Ya udah, bye-bye.
Mau gerak mahal gak sih Pan?
Pakai sepeda makanya biar paha lu kayak CR7.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. We're at a minute for Gladiators.
Indo Prep lah nontonin stream Indo lagi nge-lag kok ya.
Koet itu yang udah ninggalin kita itu. Yang udah nggak jomblo lagi. Bukan pasukan jomblo lagi.
Ngapa hashtag Anang jambak, Cok? Udah, Cok. Windy ini apa, Cok ya?
Tuh kan, aku diem loh.
Cuak.
Ya Win, aku yang salah
But yeah, Falak going down is not a good thing considering Falak is kind of that
itu nggak ada meaning seperti itu guys.
There's certainly great players
on
this squad,
Aduh.
IQ and play doing some fantastic things.
Ini akhirnya mereka perang ya. Kalau tadi kan mereka tarik-tarikan sampai lambat banget masuk zona. Ini kali ini mereka perang.
Sabar.
Ini orang ngapain? Astaga Tuhan.
Dadah.
Apa bro?
Astaga Tuhan.
Enggak, si Mythic kenapa nggak nembak Agi 8 tadi malah dia balik nge-end belakangnya ya?
Nggak tahu.
Wah, aku nggak ngeliat tuh.
Oh, outside of the server, you see they've been looking pretty confident the way they're playing it.
Nggak mungkin nggak kelihatan nggak sih?
Into the top 4 spots overall,
Koet enak udah punya pasangan. Koispan kapan nih?
Gua nggak
Diam.
ngerti sih.
Easily one of the most intense groups we're seeing.
Iya aneh. Agak aneh. Cuman ya kelar juga sih, Bro.
You need it sometimes as well. And
Bagi-bagi kill kan? Masa teori bagi-bagi kill guys? Lagi perang gitu.
Mereka tadi tahan-tahanan loh. Kali ini mereka perang anjing. Unik.
Masa nggak
Lu
kelihatan?
harus nonton, lu tadi yang nggak perhatiin ya. Lu mundurin, lu nonton lagi dah.
Iya lihat gua tadi tuh.
Baru notice
Agi 8-nya kok granat terus.
Ya.
Dia nge-end temennya itu terus mundur nge-end yang belakang lagi.
Iya, si Luxi yang depan, mundur yang belakang itu didiemin tuh.
Didiemin.
The question is, Does fighting for that spot put you in the bottom 5?
Bingung aku pun.
Itu depan muka anjay kelihatan jelas banget, Cok.
Nge-end temen lu lagi bisa lu trade itu langsung. Tapi beda kaliber sih emang masih
Makanya gue
gameplay.
tanya apa nggak lihat? Tapi nggak mungkin nggak lihat nggak sih guys?
Tapi ya kalau dilihat kayak gitu ya dia nggak lihat sih kelihatan.
Mungkin nggak kelihatan mungkin. Kalau posisinya keputusannya seperti itu mungkin.
Loops berkata tabrak Korata.
Sedekah.
DX berkata tabrak Korata.
By your own hand. You want to be the ones that are making the plays. If it's ever up to another team to decide whether or not you're actually going to make it through or have to
Putri lapar, gue pesen makan udah nggak lapar.
Really struggle to get back into things. It just does so much to slowing down the confidence, slowing down sort of that aggression that you can have that can be the difference.
Nah, katanya itu pemain 4 jari, Cok. Makanya ketutupan jari tadi.
Bisa.
Kalau diam, King Randy diam.
Ada Nandi kah? Randy.
Nah, ini kenapa sih, Cok?
Nandi masih di kota Silent Hill, Cok.
Di Palembang kan?
Kabutnya tebel banget, gue kemain pulang tuh aja nggak nyaman banget ini. Tidur jam 3 tuh tambah tebel.
Lihat Win, aku jadi kena Win di left Win.
Aku udah diem loh Mas Anang. Aku ngapain lagi loh? Apa lo?
Episode itu nggak bakal ada habis guys dengan versi cerita beda terus.
Ya lu cerita dong, cerita sesungguhnya gimana coba?
Nggak minat gue.
Gak usah dilanjutin kalau nggak mau dikelarin.
Mati dong.
Is continuing to deliver station after station as the shots are connecting onto
Gila,
them.
pas happen ya.
Buset.
Low in terms of what you've got left
Berempat
to work
lagi,
with now.
coy.
It's just six.
Falcon ini tim mana sih?
Up top.
Oh itu dia di
Ini
kiri.
Phoenix apa nih?
Arab.
Ya?
Iya.
Yeah.
Beberapa playernya kayak beda sama Falcon yang tahun lalu PMW. Buset. Granatnya sih udah hampir bener tadi.
Not a good idea to stay up here for too much longer. Just sends back downstairs.
Mukanya kayak Mongol nih, ini pesik.
Those in will run himself down. That's okay. He can get back on his bike, get moving. That's down over towards Sosnovia. They have not moved very quickly. Stalwart similarly.
Oh, I see. Oh ya, tim dengan uang banyak loh.
Military base over in Novo. They've got a long way to go, but that's fine. Malaysia
Yeah,
Sports
kan
quick note taking
di
towards that
top
north
guys
side
gimana nih, guys?
as we're going to hit into our stage 2 very soon.
PJF. Zona parah sih.
PJF nggak sih guys?
Amin,
Kamu
amin,
udah
amin,
dikasih
amin.
zona nih, ayo kamu secure chicken, sudah kuberi. Kata PUBG-nya, tuar. Hampir itu. Dua.
Zonanya kecil banget.
PUBG Mobile.
Welcome to PUBG Mobile.
He's trying to make a play on this one.
Ayo dong, PJP
Taking
main
each
lah.
fight
Zona
very
keduanya
confident.
kecil banget.
Going down towards the last of the utilities he's really got though. Got to primarily just stick to his guns in a situation like this, but they give him timing for the double reload.
Sultan minyak
And he
asli.
has one smoke, 2 stims left.
I mean, this is the pumpy as well he's using.
Wih gila,
but
bagus itu
Senab
granat.
will find the grenade.
Tight angle.
Head up towards that top side. Keeps it safe. Realizes
semuanya
that
pakai
is not
stack
a lad to
itu,
be
kenapa
messed
sih
around with.
polisi,
6 is
anjir?
just a very good player on the side of Falcons. Really,
Bikin
really
hashtag
sick.
baru aja guys, jambak
Nanya
aku
nih,
mas.
anjir.
Sport
Ada yang
players
jawab,
from
so.
Seven have it
Iya, zonanya
time so
kecil
far.
banget ya kan?
Kenapa, Bro?
Apa anjir, Anang udah
Right off
galak.
the get-go.
Bener nggak tadi
Beautiful
gua
stuff
ngomong
for them.
zonanya kecil
They'll be
banget?
pleased with that one.
Nggak tahu tadi udah
A little
jawab.
bit closer towards that number 1 spot, which is currently.
Ih, Mas Anang belum jawab.
You know what? Despite
Entah.
everything,
Nggak
2
ada.
chicken
Hmm,
dinners.
belum jawab.
Anang emang gitu, Bro.
Iya, aku belum jawab,
It's
Indi,
been a great
makasih.
run from them so
Koispan
far.
salam Kak
But it
Windy
is
dong
a
dari Lufluf
very
Mania.
quick
Udah ke live
rotation.
dia aja,
A
komen
rotation that I'm
santai aja.
fairly pleased with, honestly.
Windy
They
nggak
are
gigit kok.
towards the top side of Sosnovia.
Kenapa
Just
zonanya
the
kecil banget?
fastest
Apa gue
rotation
yang
we've
Windy
seen
nggak
in a
gigit,
long time.
jambak
Question
dong.
is, can they win the team?
Dijambak doang, dikit mah enggak guys.
It's a big question. It would be in bold.
Enggak, gua enggak digigit guys, digigit
Yeah.
guys.
as it's one they need to kind of give us a good answer to, right?
Aduh, yang otak pijat mending diem aja dah. Gua itu maksudnya.
Kasih apa lagi udah.
At least here you tried to make the best of the situation.
Ini dulu game dulu DX dapat.
This is the last outing on Erangel we're gonna have as well. So if there is anything for Gladiators to be found here in the green pastures, they need to pick it up
Mati dong, Chef.
soon. Hello, that's a big name player for Luke.
Putar kiri kanan nggak ngaruh.
Range is Levi is able to find the angle to him. Wow, and they're
Woi.
really engaging on this. I just peppering the vehicle.
Hampir, Cuk. Hampir loh dia gebukin
You're
Cua
just
tadi.
taking clean fights. The rotation there completely ripped to shreds, not able to close any space between
Nice,
them.
nice, nice,
So
nice.
DX getting
Ulangin
away
yang
from the
bakal
early
mengganggu
fight
alter
versus
ego.
Bra after picking up one elim, now clean up again.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of a gorgeous setup as well on the cleanup because they had players all over the place just ready to step up. So no matter where
Ini
they
shopper
went
cabi
through
banget ya.
those headshot hills, they were gonna get cleaned up by someone. So a
Males
really
banyak
nice play
netizen
there from
kawin dia
DX
nanti
to
tidak
try and
dibaca.
hold from behind. Bra already left, so they just decided, look, let's just take down any team that does move out from Sosnovka. We know IA and Loops dropping that location, so either one team or both of those teams going to be coming through this spot soon anyway. So the more teams they can clean up as they move the circle, the easier it's going to be to make that rotation up towards that northern side. But another circle shift again, fairly central, cuts out a lot of that water, so a little bit fairer to play now. With Gladiators up towards that northern side, Reject currently very much in the center, looking for a bit of a bigger game here.
Scary as well in a way that we're seeing Bra rotate into this one. Something about it screams that they're eventually going to be turned into Alpha 7 Chow, as they've got good advanced angles to work with. You get contact onto them, they've been looking mean in some of these fights. Meanwhile though, we'll hone in on what's going on here. Rosemary and co of Alter Ego taking shots back. This is the big squad of Stalwart, the Mongolians that have been playing pound for pound some great PUBG Mobile today. At the minute, fragmented with the setup 3 players on the top of the hills. One of them down towards the close proximity of Alter Ego. Bites the bullet a bit too literally and is taken out of commission early on this one. Rest of the squad looking to give up the space.
Kelar game ini gue udahan.
Just try grab their
Mari kita kelarin dulu
out of here.
Ayo Okta dapetin itu Stalwart tuh. Hehehe. Game apa lah ini jauh dikit udah render tapi masih berat gamenya. Sorry.
Honestly, it feels a bit sticky in this situation too, as Stalwart finally get themselves unstuck up towards that top side. I gotta say, I'm really impressed with the Indonesian squad coming through from Alter Ego. Yeah, errors. And
Indonesia nih bos, senggol no.
They had their heyday in the past.
Ini mereka berubah sistemasi juga nih si Bra. Mereka dari awalnya main sampai rata, ini mereka narik mundur, cuma mereka jadi hanya sisa bertiga, di Bredet sama Gaimin, mati kau mati.
Alter Ego though has been on the rise for a while, and their macro has been fairly decent. Technical ability not quite there yet, but I think this PMGC they are really
katanya mau jadi juara.
Leaps and bounds at the moment. That shouldn't happen.
No,
gue masih nggak suka sama pameran egois mulut-mulutnya player ini sih. Ex Navi. Katanya mau juara PMGC, tapi kok sombongnya udah tinggi, janganlah. Gila tuh harusnya setup kayak gitu udah ada yang kenok N anjir dari Bra-nya. Halo? Satu player dia bisa keculik pula. The fuck dude? Itu miss parah itu dari tim mereka nih. Jelek banget. Mereka udah punya setup kok, mereka yang jadi mati dua anjir. Bisanya kepus loh itu tadi satu.
GG ya Pan?
Iya. Kok bisa itu orang naik nggak ada yang lihat dan sadar gitu loh.
Itu maksud gua. Bisa-bisanya dia kaget tuh ada orang di belakangnya.
Iya. Itu nggak logis aja.
Nggak sadar lagi.
Iya. Terus temen-temennya yang di seberang dia tuh juga aneh, kayak nggak bener-bener ngelok nih orang lewat nih, sikatin kayak nggak ada yang kenok lagi dari Branya.
Player remaining with Kane up on that top side as well, looking to hold him
out.
It is unideal going forward. Tiamba need to leave from this eastern side.
Gak logis anjir.
Open outside of shooting range. Luckily for them, there's not too many teams around them other than Alter Ego down towards that southeast side.
Rotate along the coastline. Everyone in their vehicles sitting pretty as they make their move. Got a bit of a clash on the road potentially could be coming their way. Plus you've got to deal with Bra that are set up just ahead of you. A little bit of control towards the ridge, at least getting the information as they hear the engines going on by. Alpha 7 off towards the wayside as well. Single building, basically just a shed to try and tuck yourselves into. Thin walls on that bad boy. Bullets whizzing by from either side as well. Ooh, but this is the trade back. This is the clash that they were waiting for. Turning onto Bra, assisted by another set of assailants as well, as another squad gets stuck into the action. And now you're relatively trapped here, down ground as well, with a lot of high elevated angles to get a line of sight onto this. It's not going to be too nice to make a play from this one, especially when Tiamba are coming over for their piece of the pie.
Daerah-daerah yang lumayan tricky nih. Semoga Alterigo bisa survive. Persija full tim 1 kebeset. Alterigo semua setengah darah.
I think it's somewhat iffy going on with the Gladiators at the moment. Someone's not gelling.
Susah banget ya, digebuk banyak arah. Ada yang nembak dari samping, ya untung dibales. KN nggak itu? Enggak kan? Astagfirullah. Aduh, Alpha kena N lagi. Nice, Okta. Ini chaos banget ini. Kacau banget. Quest lawan DX lawan Alterigo. Okta ketinggalan. Fanatic udah jauh. Mati dah. Nice try kawan.
And the secondary shot, he will deal the damage instead. So they are able to find that one. You've got Quest just down towards the hills there as well. So another squad close by. Quest, it feels like they've been having to fight from the back foot all damn day today. So there'll be no strangers to this situation, barely dodging the bonnets.
Yeah, easy. Trying to get himself out of this situation at the moment with the team just encircling him. Fortunately for Alterigo, they just get caught up in a haphazard rotation there. Fnatic trying to get back down again to cause a little bit of damage. Knows he needs a few more eliminations to make this sort of worth it. Only got 3 eliminations at the moment. It's not likely that they're going to go out in that top 8 at this point in time, so you can sort of understand why he comes down here just to fight the good fight. PMGC EVOS, though, they're looking down towards this engagement next. They want to hold out all the teams down towards the southeast side. Meantime, Stalwart's trying to slip their way in up towards Reject.
Nggak terlalu hafal kali.
Lay of the land, you can see it's looking quite scary. Spacing between teams, a hot commodity that's only going to get harder to keep a grasp on, as that zone will get even less space to work with, and your blood's going to be boiling with this one. A lot more favoured around Tiamba, as they've actually gotten quite lucky with this one. The plays have looked good from them as well, and we get a little bit of limelight back on over to the side from Japan. Reject Tokyo that have had some risky plays throughout the day. I think it's a fair word to describe it as, Blank. But maybe in this one, with all 4 still alive, they'll be able to show us something a little bit better.
Yeah, they're just giving it, and I like it. I respect it. It's good to see coming through from Reject overall. This circle just sending everyone up the top side of the hill, so we're going to have a plateau in terms of the end game. But first, you've got to fight through this gauntlet, which is the outer edges of the hillside itself, moving up the slopes. See who you can get to. Sort of feels like Takeshi's Castle at this point in time, where you got to battle through a lot of those annoying foes before you get to face against that final boss. At the moment, that's looking like PMGC EVOS as well as Tiamba combined.
EVO's kicking in the nitros as they want to close the gap between the 2 teams, but they're taking damage. Paragin, he's got to go off. Man's got to go full Paragon in a situation like this, trying to punish with a shotty. Clean connections as he cuts his way through easy, looking to stay alive, but the bullets are being battered down onto him from all the way up on the hill, though. That'll be the backup from Redface that does actually save the bacon on the close quarters engagement versus Quest. Lamborghini's gone for good as he's taken out, and Luxy.
Nice lag.
Tried it back again. The Stalwart down to 3 now.
Yeah, GP there from Stalwart. I actually like this position that Stalwart's picked up. Pretty safe in terms of angles. You're not likely to get really hurt from Reject looking down your way, so they can hide within the tree line, but all the while deal a lot of damage over towards the airplane that's crashed down here. And currently PMGC EVOS is playing They do lose a player in the process, but
Tumbal
that will
red
slow
face.
down
Enggak, itu main dia
Evos
lagi jelek. Tapi
tremendously.
untung selamat sih.
Allowing now Mad Balls to move further up.
Juga
They've got
agak-agak
one
aneh.
elimination, made it
Semoga dia
towards
bisa
the top
cepet fixin
9.
sih.
So it's looking fairly decent for the EU squad.
Something about it though doesn't look right to me. Looking at Mad Balls with the way they've been playing, the body language, the way they've been positioning themselves into these games, it always was a little bit scary. Here, Frozen at least
Selamat
tracing
tinggal.
in the car and taking out Paragin to stop the EX on that one.
Udah lama gue ngeliat
Down,
luar
removing them from the
bebek.
course of action. But the fight won't end here.
Let's go
We're in
PJV.
proximity, surrounded by squads that have got a good
Pasukan
understanding of where
Jaksel
they are
bersatu.
positionally. So, if Mad Balls want to keep this one up, it has got to get even better the longer this game goes on.
English,
Yeah,
but
like,
even
right
better.
now, the squads that are
Better.
in the lobby, you know, Tiamba, Malise Esports, Ali7, Stalwart, Evos. These are all tough teams, but I think this might be a game where Mad Balls might just be able to pull themselves out of the
Tumben
water,
besok orang ngomong Persijanya dulu
cough
bukan
up
Evos.
whatever that's been hurting them, hampering them. Try and get on with it here.
Wih,
at
Alpha
the
7
PMGC.
disusul,
They're stuck a
cuk.
little bit on the edge now. With a lot of angles towards them, they might even start sweeping up towards
Oh,
that
ini
western
lawan
side, ideally.
bos-bosan di sebelah kalian guys. Persija.
Took one of their players. That's their one elimination that they have on this game. The circle moving over towards that eastern side does make anyone on this western edge a little bit queasy now.
Seasickness going to be kicking in as they have been shaken from game to game, thrown around all over the place. PK trying his best again here to strike, says goodnight to Shopper as he will take him out of commission. Good understanding at least positionally where they can be peaked from on this one. Got their back towards the blue as well, so they know there's no flanking action that's going to come their way. And a little bit of utility across the board as well. Few nades. Probably want a little bit more to work with, but they've got some to try and make a maneuver. Few smokes pulled out, closing their distance behind the tree line. Going to push up with Zerich being able to provide Overwatch as well. This is your one big grenade in the back pocket, so it's got to land on target. Little bit of damage tagged out from it, but not enough for what you wanted.
Smokes are down though, and I think Frozen knows that they're practically locked in at this point in time. Keeping them held down to the ground. So Zia not likely to get out of here anytime soon. Mad Bull still on that top side. They still have to face off against the Indonesian giants of Zuxi and Luxi and the rest of Evos over towards that eastern side at some point.
And that's a fight that will decide so much in terms of the final standing of the squads we have remaining here at the minute in the 6th stage. Evos have looked really quite strong to some of the encounters they've had.
Mad Bull team dari mana? Mad dari negara mana itu ya?
Overall standings at the minute being 12th and 13th place respectively with how it's been going. Mad Bulls are just finding a few more eliminations as they're cleaning up onto the damage they did.
Mad Bull, CIS.
No bullets left
Oh, French. Oh, organisasinya French. Dari CIS, dari arah-arah Rusia sono.
In terms of what they're bringing to these final fights, they sort of have to go down towards RNJ and sort of pick up on some of those death crates. Misery holding them back now. Nice smokes unleashed, allowing them to get further up. Tulika has to hit some big nades. I think that's really mostly what they're rocking with right now.
It's pretty much all you've got to be your boon in a situation like this. Unless they can scavenge a little bit to build themselves back into it, you're not going to be too well armed the longer this one goes on. Same can't be said for some of the other teams that definitely have more reserves than they would really find time to do much with. A little bit outclassed in terms of some of the weaponry that's on display as well, but FleeK still trying his best. Pot shots across, nice connection in the end.
Ayo Persija, nice. Aduh, ayo Gus, konokin Gus. Wih, hampir Gus. Gus.
This is getting cruel.
Jump throw.
Ngeng. Down the hill are a little bit easier. Nades upwards towards Pajisi.
Keluar be. Wow. Saya nggak kenok satu lagi. Ya, jangan dicolong dong.
It's all gone to pot here as well. As they're losing players left, right, and center. It was only so long they could hold in this position, and they just did not clear out enough space, even after they got that circle as well. So unfortunate.
It's rough for them. But the Bulls have been subdued and taken out of commission on this one. not going to have a chance to have any surprises here. At least finding a few more points than we had seen into the previous games, though, ending that one with 8 eliminations. But the overall battle here does continue. A lot of big names still left in commission for this. And some of the squads we haven't seen making it this late, now starting to get a little bit more longevity out of their survival time as well. So we'll see for Evos as well as Reject Tokyo just what they can do with this, being the two squads that do still have all 4 players left alive. Evos, look, they were pretty red hot coming into this one with some of the adjustments we've seen from them. Redface has been hitting some good shots. Stalwart still in it to win it as well. No elims here on the final Erengao yet, but still chock-a-block when it comes to points off the back of the 2 chicken dinners they've already taken. So anything extra here is going to be a blessing for them.
Yeah, they're just churning out ranking points at the moment, which is the big difficulty for a lot of these teams. It sort of feels like STE, A7, 2 heavily armored guardsmen holding on to that spot.
Sarah jago, topnya juga jago tapi anjing tuh headshot tadi hampir. Ayo Persija baru 2 kill, tambah lagi. Lu 4 orang, sisa 11 musuh. Yuk 11 kill lagi yuk.
STE, has to send away. Not likely they'll get away from that one though, and I think that's their final player now out in 5th place. But like you say, that's good points. That's good points still been accrued.
That's what matters at the minute, especially with a big buffer they built themselves. They're allowed to let the odd chicken dinner fall through the fingertips here and there. Already having 2 under the belt, the belly's definitely going to be full at the minute. But now it's up to the squads that are hungry. Alpha 7 famished off the back of what happened into the previous game. Probably somewhat frustrated at the mistakes made in the 2v2s. They want to secure a win on this one, but it is just 2 players. Being able to find it over the finish line will be a tall task, especially with both Evos and Reject having a lot more manpower to work with. A bit of a slower affair then from this one. Mistakes on this blank are going to be costly. Not too much map geometry to work with. All goes down to your util and your communication.
I mean, Maliz Esports,
sesepuh PUBG Mobile Jepang, Reject ya asli.
Bisa. So they get themselves towards the end game, towards that zone 9. They can unleash an absolute hell.
Wih bagus kill 4 cu, mulai on fire deh.
Senjatanya tapi terbatas cu amonya.
Iya AK di
AKDBS tadi bagus tuh.
Ideally putting these nades out now, make the best use of them. Lewis already pulls one out the pocket. Doesn't send it yet.
Ini waktunya PJP main nih, let's go.
And again for this
3 besar, let's go. Nice.
Leaps and bounds.
Tinggal lawan RC doang nih.
Oke,
udah Alpha 7 satu lagi.
Tapi RC-nya susah masuknya tuh.
Yang depan mereka nih Alpha 7. Nah, dapat 1 chicken nih.
Wah ya kenok dong. Aduh.
Nah, link sama jeruk bagus tuh nyebar tuh.
Oke. 4 lawan 3, 4 lawan 4.
It's not going to end there. Still just eating bullets again. Misery really living up to his name as he loves company. In this situation, it will be the Rejects that are forced to hang out with him. Bullet after bullet putting them in. Alpha 7 as well, suffering as they're gone for good. We get left with the final 2 squads that are going out for this one. Evos, they've looked confident.
Aduh, misalnya kenok juga. Mah kenok 2, cok. The fuck?
Iya, kali 2 dong.
The rest of his team on Reject can't get too high on this hill at the moment. Honestly,
tenang.
Back, obviously. Misery goes down though. There is
Nice.
a move from Sarah, flexing those guns.
Sarah kenokin Sarah.
Looking to take down a couple more players.
Sabar, tenang.
Nice.
To a 2v3, 2v2 now. It's just Duello off in the
Nice banget, Gus.
Has a nade, it could be dangerous.
Duello, he's got to win his duels on this one.
Ooh, what?
Oh,
Luxi nih bos, senggol dong.
Itu dia.
Let's go. That would make you feel ill, dropping it down to just 1 man left. The Japanese side not able to keep the dream alive as they will be rejected on the chicken dinner. It will be a pickup for Evos as they secure the chicken dinner.
That felt like a return.
Buff rambut baru kah? Buff rambut baru kah dia?
I mean, he's wearing his glasses, so maybe that's how. But what a game from Evos. Really good control. I think we haven't talked too much about this team so far. And again, it's a case that they've got a lot of subs on this side. They're bringing players in and out. You can see Zuxi coming into the room now to celebrate with his brother. But the thing is that this feels like a well-oiled team. And honestly,
MVP bagus lah itu. Dia total kill 6 tuh kayak. Apa kill 7 bahkan dia kill 5 tadi. Dapat 2 apa 3 dia? Ngeri banget.
Tinggal konsisten ini. Indo nih udah bagus nih dua-dua nih.
Just for these long pop shots being seriously effective at causing some chaos.
Sini Discord
pain off in the distance. It's nice to see.
You can see why they have so much confidence in being able to rotate around the roster in terms of the substitutes they have, right? Knowing that everyone that
mau apa? Gue udah gawean anjir.
Is there for a reason. They can fill
Thank you guys, dari guys. Streamer magang cuma meramaikan aja.
Salah lagi, Chicken salah lagi. Astagfirullahaladzim.
Dari guys. Dadah bro. Ki, Nang, Windy.
Bye bye.
Whereas fragmented between two lines of decision making. Evos really showing